More Gospel, chapter 37, Pain and Suffering. When the Son of Man comes in his glory, and all the angels with him, he will sit on a glorious throne. All the nations will be gathered before him, and he will separate the people from another as a shepherd separates sheep from the goats. He will put the sheep on his right and the goats on his left. Then the king will say to those on his right, "Come, you who are blessed by my Father. Take your inheritance, the kingdom prepared for you since the creation of the world. For I was hungry, and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, and you invited me in. I needed clothes, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you looked after me. I was in prison, and you came to visit me." Then the righteous will answer him, "Lord, when did we see you hungry and feed you, or thirsty and give you something to drink? When did we see you a stranger and invite you in, or needing clothes and clothe you? When did we see you sick or in prison and go to visit you?" The king will reply, "Truly I tell you, whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me." Then he will say to those on his left, "Depart from me, you who are cursed, into the eternal fire prepared for the devil and his angels. For I was hungry, and you gave me nothing to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me nothing to drink. I was a stranger, and you did not invite me in. I needed clothes, and you did not clothe me. I was sick and in prison, and you did not look after me." They also will answer, "Lord, when did we see you hungry or thirsty or a stranger or needing clothes or sick or in prison and did not help you out?" He will reply, "Truly I tell you, whatever you did not do for one of the least of these, you did not do for me." Then they will go away to eternal punishment, but the righteous to eternal life. Matthew chapter 25, 31 to 46. At age 54, I underwent open heart surgery. The surgeon put in 3 bypasses and repaired some damage which had been done by a heart attack which occurred when I was 40. Even though everything went reasonably well, I would have to say that the surgery and the subsequent recovery was the most physically painful ordeal of my life. Weeks of slow healing forced my body into relative inactivity, but my mind focused on pain and suffering in a way that it had never done before. I spent many hours pondering the mystery of suffering, and it is truly a mystery. The more my mind wrestled with the almost infinite number of ways that men suffer, the more perplexed I became. But there were a few thoughts that became etched in my mind that I think are very valuable and that I hope will never depart from my daily consciousness. Number 1, try to relieve suffering every day. Number 2, isolation makes all suffering worse. Number 3, live for heaven. That's all that matters. Our world is filled with sufferings of countless types, and yet we often don't see it, or we turn away when we do. May God have mercy on us. Every person should try to relieve suffering in some way. For some, it's a vocation. Priests, doctors, healthcare workers, nuns. They all spend their daily lives relieving spiritual and physical suffering. Mother Teresa of Calcutta comes to mind. She tirelessly tried to relieve suffering, and the world admired her greatly. It was only fitting that she be so admired because she was so devoted to a most noble work. If at the end of our lives it can be said of us that we worked hard to relieve suffering in this world, that would be fantastic, the stuff of heroes and saints. But most people do not have a vocation to specifically relieve suffering. For them, they have to learn to see suffering in their daily activities and to develop an instinctive response of help and support. We all live in relationship with many people, some close and some distant. When we have eyes to see our neighbor's pain, then we can try in our own small way to help. It could be a listening ear, a warm smile, a helping hand, a word of encouragement, a rock-solid friendship, or a donation of some kind. There are a million ways to relieve suffering, and many of them should become a normal part of life for every one of us. When a person suffers alone, they suffer the most. God does not want us to be alone. He wants us to be in communion with one another and with Him. It is imperative that you connect yourself with others, especially those who are suffering. That is the way of Jesus, who connected Himself to all of mankind and took upon Himself the worst of man's sufferings for the sake of our salvation. Look around for the one who is in pain, and in some way connect yourself to him. Prayer is very helpful in this endeavor. Prayer is one of the most powerful means of connecting ourselves to others. Deep, heartfelt prayer brings the other person into our hearts and transforms all relationships for the better. The more you pray, the less alone we all are. In so many instances, the key factor is being connected to someone who loves and cares about us. Unimaginable pain and suffering can be survived if we have at least one other person who will go through it with us. You can be that person for so many people in your lifetime. Allow God to lead you, and He will. Pray. Ultimately, achieving our goal of eternal life in heaven is the only thing that matters. We will all pass through this life on earth quickly enough, and then we will enter into an eternity of either joy or pain. That is the teaching of Jesus. Many times He pointed out to us that our final destination will be heaven or hell. Jesus spoke of the pain of hell as an eternal fire. That should be enough to motivate anyone to fear God's punishment and seek to please Him. Whatever we have to suffer here in this life, it is nothing compared to the eternal sufferings of hell. In our time, many people have rejected the notion of hell as a condition of eternal pain and suffering. In doing this, they have rejected the teaching of Jesus and made Him into a liar. May God have mercy on them and bring them into the light of His truth. Jesus is the Son of God, who came down from heaven, and he knows what awaits every human being on the other side of death. He taught us clearly to strive to attain heaven, because many people will take the wide, smooth path to hell. Yes, my dear friend, hell exists, and many will end up there. Make sure you are not one of them. In the end, your salvation is all that matters, and achieving it should be your primary objective every day of your life.